Miss Frida. How are you doing today? And welcome back to my channel. Yay! Alright, today is another story time. Okay, as you know, I'm an Uber driver and a Lyft driver. So these are stories that actually happened to me personally when I'm out there Ubering. So this one was almost like some drunk Jerry Springer stuff, you know what I mean? Okay, here's what happened. I'm new at Ubering at this time. I was new at Ubering, so I had only been doing it for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. No biggie. And everyone keeps telling me about all these crazy horror stories and things like that. And I said, look, none of that stuff has happened, so I'm not interested. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm Ubering. It's a Saturday night, and I'm in Kemah. I know this thing is shaking because it's on an arm instead of mounted on my thing. So I'm in Kemah. My call came in, my ping came in, but it was for another little city right across, which was Dickinson. And I said, okay, that's not that far. And at the time, like I said, there was very few Uber drivers that was in that area. So I went there, pick up a passenger and things like that. So I'm pulling up, regular neighborhood, you know, this and the other. Here comes my passenger. I ain't gonna tell you his name. We'll call him Chuck. Anyway, out comes Chuck, and he has on long sleeve shirt, the basketball shorts, and no shoes. So this is nothing, you know, abnormal or anything like that to me, because I've had people come out and they're either calling the Uber for somebody else, or they're coming out to tell me, hold on for a second, and you know, I'll be out in a minute. No biggie. So he comes out. This guy is tall. When I say he's about 6'6", 6'7", I am not lying. He is tall, but he's shaped like a superhero. Well, the cartoon superheroes, you know, big at the top and little bitty legs. So he comes out there and he gets in my car. Now, how he gets in my car is still, you know, crazy to me, because he's so tall and I'm in a Malibu, and he has that basically bend over almost in half in order to get in my car. So I need to hurry up. So he gets in the car. He tells me that I'm new to this Uber thing. You need to show me how to do it. That's the reason why I called you, so that you can show me how to do this. He says, I'll pay you $20 if you sit down here and you tell me how to do it. Mind you, I knew that he had been drinking. You could smell it. And I saw the way that he was walking, that he wasn't, you know, he wasn't stable. Anyway, he gets in the car. I said, well, where are we going? He says, well, we'll just run around the block, and then I'll give you the $20, and you show me how to work this app. I said, okay. And I'm not judging, and I'm not asking any questions. We went around the block. I showed him, I'm telling him and showing him as we're driving how to work this app. Because if I sat too long, this was during the time with Uber, if I sat too long, Uber would actually cancel the ride, because they figured that, you know, no one had showed up. So that's what I did. I went around the corner. When we come back, he tells me why he needs to learn how to do this Uber thing. That he had a DUI, and this is not his first one, obviously. He had the thing in his truck, you know, the breathalyzer thing in his truck, and he had to do time in jail. From what I ascertained with his conversation with me is that he was taking 2 weeks off and on to do 2 weeks in jail of the 90 days that he was supposed to be doing. Since he was working, they said that he can come back every weekend consecutively until that until his time is up. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he wanted to learn how to do the Uber thing. Then we're still sitting in the car. We're now back in front of his house. We're sitting in the car and he's talking to me. And then he starts telling me, he says, well, why don't you do this? I'd rather have you to come by and pick me up, and we can run it through Uber, but you have to be here on Friday, and then on Sunday, come back and pick me up on Sunday at the jail and bring me back home. Well, every weekend, you know, consecutively until the 90 days are up. Well, minus the 2 weeks. I said, okay, that's good. So he gets out the car. He says, okay, I'm going to get out the car and I'm going to go get the $20 for my tip for actually helping him figure out how to do this Uber thing. He gets out the car and he farts. He didn't even know it. It wasn't one of those bad smelling things, whatever. This is more like he gets up, fart, and then he goes about his business. I'm like, it fart in my car. So he comes back out. When he comes back out, I'm just sitting there, you know, like I said, I'm waiting on him. So I'm sitting there waiting on him. He comes back out, and right behind him, I kid you not, right behind him comes this chick. And she's drunk. She is really drunk. She comes out, what the blankety blankety blank 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 you doing? Blankety blank 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 blank. And she's a little bitty thing. And I said, am I in the middle of something here? Because, you know, and he says, no, that's my sister. And she's drunk and she's mad at me. I said, oh, okay, that she's mad at you, not me. I don't care. Trying to do business. Anyway, he gets in the car, he sits down, and he starts talking to me again. And he says, you know what? I would love for you to come by and pick me up. And he's giving me his schedule. You know, where he's going to be at, this and the other. Okay, fine. So, out comes another woman. She's just as wasted, if not more, than his sister. And I said, that's another sister? He says, no. And just left it as that. She comes out, she comes to my car. What the are you doing with this? I said, I locked my door. I rolled up my window because we were sitting in the car. I rolled up my window. I said, look, I don't have time to be bothered with this mess. Whatever you're doing, you better handle your business. Because I'm just an Uber driver. And she says, what are you doing with this? The N-word. No, I did not get out because, one, she's stupid and she's drunk. Alright? And you don't argue and fight with stupid drunk people. I don't have time for this mess. You know, I know who I am, and I'm comfortable in my own skin. I know who I am. So, whatever anger that she was having, she was pissed off at him. She wasn't pissed off at me. I already know that. So, she proceeded to start calling me names. Then, she proceeded to start calling him names. And the names that she was calling him, man, I felt bad because she called him out for the entire block to hear it. The entire block. So she called him all kinds of names. She staggered over to her car, fell into it face first into the window, the driver's side window, popped herself in the face trying to get in the car. His sister comes out. She's trying to get her friend out of the car because she's too drunk to drive. I mean, she's wasted. She's wasted. I mean, when you actually almost knock yourself out by trying to get into your car, you don't need to be behind the wheel. So he's sitting there watching the whole thing go down. These two drunk women trying to get themselves together and get back in the house. And then he looks at me, he says, well, you gonna come by and pick me up? And I'm like, well, who is that? I don't want to get involved with anybody that I mean, I'm not talking about getting involved with anybody that has a girlfriend or anything like that, like a relationship, but I don't want to be around that type of people. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want her coming out here beating on my car thinking that I'm trying to steal her man. And he says, well, we're about to break up. I can't stand this woman because she's constantly drinking. You're about to break up with your girlfriend because she's an alcoholic. And you're sitting in the car with me and you're making her believe that we are an item. That's crap. Anyway, we go through all of this. I started taking him to the jail in Houston because he has to report in, and then he would come back. I would pick him up and bring him back on Sunday. No biggie. So he asked me one time, he says, you know what, you've been so nice to me, why don't we go out? We can go out for lunch. I don't have a problem with that. We're not dating, you know, going back and forth every weekend. You do start to have a little camaraderie or whatever. So it was no big deal. So we go and we get something to eat. I'm eating. He's drinking. I'm not talking about a shot here, a shot there. I'm talking about, you might as well have left the bottle of liquor sitting right there on the table because he finished it. He is a drunk. He's an alcoholic. And he was sipping it down hard. Anyway, we finish up. He grabs me by my face, pulls me towards him, because now you're lifting me up this way. Because, like I said, he's taller than me. He's 6'7", 6'8". And he's actually lifting me up by my face up to kiss him. He says, you're the prettiest black girl I've ever seen. You're just so fine. Oh, okay. Anyway, long story short, I ended it right there because he was starting to scare me. He was being overpossessive. He wanted to go out with me. I was not interested in going out with him. He has issues and baggage, and I just don't have time for that right now. That and the fact that he's in his 50s and he still don't have his shit together. Yes, he's got a great job. Yes, he's got a house. Yes, he's got a great looking truck. But if your house ain't in order, I can't deal with you. I have my own issues. There's a lot going on up here at all times. And like I said, this is my therapy. So I don't need your extra luggage. And he got mad at me and told me, he says, well, since you don't want to go out with me anymore, we only went on one date. And it wasn't really a date. He says, then I need for you to give me back the $20 that I gave you when we first met. I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. You know, I'm going to take you home. Find yourself another Uber driver. You know, that's it. So, I took him home. He was at least patient enough in order to go back home. We didn't talk. We weren't that far away from his house. And I dropped him off, and he says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "Yes." And then the next thing I know, he started to call Uber to report me. And I explained just what happened, just like with you, what happened. And they said, "Okay, then that's fine." See, this is the reason why that I do not date Uber passengers, because some of y'all are crazy as hell. Anyway, that was my story. If you like it, give me a big thumbs up. Also, down there, subscribe, and push the notification button. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, and it's all Uber H-Town. In the meantime, you guys are so fantastic. I love you all. Peace.